Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are well. I just want to say a massive thank you for everybody's support and love for my reaction videos to Blue Therapy. I've decided to come back again and I'm going to be reacting to episode 4. Now, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Sharnade. I am a celebrity therapist and the founder of Culture Minds Therapy Platform, which is an online directory where you can find a culturally competent therapist if you're struggling with your mental health or if you're struggling within your relationship and you also need couples counselling. Now, the line of work that I do is more individual therapy based on CBT therapy. And I want to provide some feedback based on Blue Therapy and my viewpoints on this. So I feel like the sessions are going really well. However, I feel that every session seems to be a different problem. And I'm hoping that in session 4, the therapist brings back the session and brings it back into a contained mannerism where the couples can focus on how they want to transform their relationship and the next steps. So I'm hoping that within this session, we're going to see some activities and just see another side to the couples. Now, the couples who I think have grown the most, I think Deborah and Jamal have grown the most from what I can see. I still feel that CHIOMA and Paul seems to be very closed-minded and he doesn't seem to be accepting the fact that he's in therapy. But who knows, things can change in episode 4. Let's get straight into it.
Have you always watched the calories and your weight, presumably, if you're watching the calories? Or is this a new scenario?
It's a very good question. I feel like CHIOMA is very selfish. What's funny?
How am I selfish? Because I want to cook for you.
Okay, but what's funny though?
The fact you just said I'm selfish.
So
what does that mean?
I wasn't laughing.
No, well, first of all, I'm not selfish. I would like to cook for him, but he makes it very difficult to cater to him when I'm busy as well.
Based on the question she asked, in terms of my food history, you basically have knowledge of it. I don't know you to tell you anything about myself, but here we are. I'll give you a tiny bit of background. So I actually went through depression at a stage, and food was my outlet. So at that time, if I was going through stress or anything, I used to eat, and that was just me making myself feel happy for the short term, but damaging my own body in the long term. It actually took me quite a while to, lose the weight, get into shape. And, since I've kind of got back onto track, I've been very basically religious and strict with my workouts, my diet and stuff like that. I literally have a board in a room which shows, what I plan to eat. This is something that I take very seriously.
Wow. So literally 3 minutes in and Paul is being open. And I've actually been waiting for this moment for Paul to be open and really speak about how he feels. And I guess when it's something that is touchy to him or very sensitive to him, he feels the need to be open. Now, Paul has just said that he used to struggle with depression and he used to eat as a result of his depression. Now, for many people, food can be a coping mechanism for any emotional difficulties, including stress and including different lifestyle issues that you're experiencing. Now, as Paul explained, in the short term it is soothing you, but in the long term it's causing difficulties within your lifestyle. You can feel quite guilty as a result. So it shows that Paul was in a very difficult place, but he's actually come out of that place now and he's able to manage his food intake and how he meal preps and takes care of his lifestyle. And I guess CHIOMA's just said that this is new to her. So we're kind of moving forwards in a sense where Paul is being more open and speaking about his emotions and things that he's dealt with. And I guess it's for the couple to come to an understanding as to how they can work together when it comes to the lifestyle at home.
Or you can eat beans. You can eat beans and yam porridge. You can eat all these things. Can you not?
I feel like with CHIOMA's diet, she doesn't take it seriously. Considering what I do, the people I work with and the results that I get, the results I've got for myself.
As I said before, I'm really happy with Paul and how Paul is being very open in how he's feeling and expressing his emotions. And one thing that I want to comment on is men's mental health. Now, men do struggle, we all struggle with mental health difficulties, and some of us can be more vocal with it, others may not be as vocal. Now, I'm really happy that Paul has found a place and he feels comfortable to be open about his struggle with his depression, because for many men, speaking about this can be quite difficult. So I just hope that by Paul being able to express how he feels, people who are watching, if you're going through the same thing, please use Paul's example for yourself to feel comfortable to express to your partner if you are also struggling. Also, if you haven't watched already, I did an interview with Groupchat 5 and we spoke about men's mental health. So if you want some encouragement on that, I will leave a link in the description bar.
Denise, you're familiar with palm oil, right?
With
palm oil?
palm oil, yes.
Do you eat it at all?
I don't know.
Why?
I've never used it in cooking, so
okay. It's quite bad for you, actually. It's quite bad for your insides. So, but at the same time, if you know, to be fair, if you did use it in cooking in terms of, well, proportionately, you know, if you weigh it, stuff like that, some people don't do that. But if you did, then maybe you'll be able to calculate what you're eating. So, in theory, what I'm trying to say is, I don't have an issue with African dishes, but if the calories are not calculated, you're just filling your gut and you don't even know what's going on with your body.
You do have an issue with African dishes, because if you're talking about calories, like I said before, he eats ice cream, he eats donuts, he eats donuts, and he also eats takeout, so pizza and etc.
It's calculated.
I don't need to calculate. Did your mum calculate when she was making you African dishes?
Right, I feel this is hilarious. It's so hilarious. I feel that with CHIOMA and Paul, they need to come to maybe a compromise. Paul has just expressed that he had depression and he used to eat food as a result in relation to a coping mechanism when he felt quite depressed. Now he's been able to manage that and overcome that, and he's eating healthier, and it seems like he doesn't want to eat his cultural food as often as maybe CHIOMA wants to eat it. So I guess together, maybe Paul can just talk to CHIOMA about the food that he wants, or maybe Paul can actually cook the food that he would like to eat for himself and CHIOMA, and help CHIOMA and teach CHIOMA the different types of food that he likes to eat. Because when we get into a relationship, things change, roles change, and we grow within ourselves. Now, if food is such an important factor for Paul, he should include his partner in this so that they can both have an understanding of the importance of food and of the importance of food and your mental health and your overall well-being, essentially. Now, I'm interested to see if CHIOMA is going to ask Paul, why don't you cook? And what will Paul say based on that?
Over here is that you both have a different plan. And at some point, if you were to both get onto each other's page,
Preach.
it would be an easier solution.
Period.
There's no period and there's no preach. So stop doing that, because that's patronising. Okay? He's exaggerating. He's telling you, like, I want him to eat palm oil every single day. I don't do that.
Fucking fry it every day.
No, I don't fry palm oil every day.
I'm getting a tiny bit pissed off. Let's think about this now. All right. Let me give you a case scenario, right? So, let's say I'm up in, give or take, Mayfair, training a client, huge mansion, right? Now, I'm preaching, eat healthy, be fit. Come on, let's go. 5 more reps, right? I get home. We've got the fucking Afrobeats whiz kid pumping in the house, yeah? Chomber's there dancing around, frying oil in the fucking pot. What the hell? There's a fucking spray that you can spray to calculate the thing. I've told you this a million times. You come in the house to fucking play a whiz kid like we're in a fucking village. What type of crap is that?
I like Afrobeats.
I love Afrobeats.
So listen to other genres. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't eat palm oil every day. I don't know what house you're going to, but I don't eat palm oil every day. I would like to eat these heavy foods maybe on a Sunday. I also eat steak and salmon and sea bass and everything else that he eats.
These couple are making me laugh. It seems like Paul has developed a very westernized approach to his food and his lifestyle, and I guess CHIOMA has not developed this Western approach to her lifestyle. And as Denise has said, they need to come to a level grounding and an understanding, because right now they're on 2 different pages. Paul wants this, CHIOMA wants to do this, and it's causing conflict within their relationship, and it's causing conflict within their food intake. So I hope that they can come to a compromise and just really maybe discuss in session the types of food that they like to eat, and whether they can schedule these foods within the week to help both of parties and not to compromise each individual.
So the people you train, do you actually know them?
There's a couple.
Yes. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry, Denise, but yeah, that's the answer. We'll get.
Yeah, there's a couple I do know personally.
Okay.
One being my ex.
I'm managing, Denise, managing.
Okay. Have you met her then?
Yeah, I mean, we've crossed paths, and she seems nice.
So what's the issue?
I mean, the issue is that I don't trust you, so that's the issue there.
Oh, so-
But she, the ex, is okay.
Okay. But you've got...
Okay. This is a massive red flag for me. Jamal coaching with his ex-partner. Now, in a relationship, there's boundaries, and I feel that this boundary Jamal has crossed a boundary here, and I think he needs to reflect back and think about how he's behaving, and if the foot was on the other shoe, how he would feel if Deborah was to do exactly what he was doing. Now, Deborah is very vocal and very expressive, which I like, but I feel that Jamal is not comprehending how Deborah is feeling. And one thing I also want to talk about is attachment styles, because when we grow up in infancy, we form attachment styles based on our upbringing and our lifestyle. And when you have a certain type of attachment style, this can show up within your relationship. So there's different types of attachment styles. There's secure, there's anxious, there's fearful. And depending on the type of attachment style you have, this will be shown in your relationship, and it can cause difficulties for your relationship. Now, the attachment style I feel that Deborah may have is more of an anxious attachment style, whereby she feels quite worried, very anxious, very jealous, and this shows within her behaviour when she behaves quite controlling. As she mentioned, she wanted to surprise Jamal and pick him up from his training session, and she wasn't happy with what she was seeing. Now, her behaviours are showing very anxiety and very jealousy and very worried and just very needy. So I'll be interested to see whether Denise explores Deborah's behaviours and the reasoning behind her behaviours and how she acts with Jamal. But I definitely do believe that working with your ex when you're in a new relationship is a red flag, and I don't think many couples will want that to happen within their relationship. Let me know in the comment section, do you think working with your ex-partner in your current job is a red flag? Better yet, drop me some red flags if you think it's a red flag.
Jamel obviously didn't know that I actually saw a screenshot of the ticket for this festival that he said he's not going to. So now when I say you're shady, do you understand?
Babe, it's not that. Do you know what? She's gonna surprise it to me.
No, that's ridiculous. Surprise me.
Yeah, why not?
Now you're being childish because you were going because you had ulterior motives and you didn't want to tell me.
Wait, my ulterior motives?
Listen,
I'm surprised you're having a good time, to be fair.
Listen, what you did was you mentioned the fact that in 2019, crazy stuff was happening. As a guy who has a girlfriend, I don't feel like, and with your behaviour, I do not feel like Afro Nation is a place for you to be in. Regardless of that, you said you wasn't going. I let you know that I was going. I'm open with the things that I do. Like, I'm open. I don't mind. I did ask him if I could go, and we came to an agreement. You know, it's not about allowing me. We came to an agreement.
Yeah, an agreement which allowed you to actually.
Okay. Anyways, we came to an agreement, and the fact is, you knew I was going Afro Nation. Like, you're.
What's the big deal?
Are you alright?
If I went to attend, what's the big deal? Like, if I went to surprise you, that's not a problem.
Listen.
That shouldn't really be a problem.
Can you stop?
Game playing. With Jamal and Deborah, I'm sensing game playing in a relationship. Now, game playing in relationships is to acquire a desired outcome based on different tactics. Now, with what Jamal and Deborah are doing, it seems like they're doing tit for tat within their relationship. If Jamal does something that Deborah doesn't like, Deborah will find a way to do something back as a retaliation. And if Deborah does something that Jamal doesn't like, it seems now that Jamal is doing something back to receive a retaliation from Deborah. Now, this is very toxic because when you're game playing in a relationship, you're doing it because you want to see how the other person will react based on your actions, and you're looking for an emotional reaction. And when you're game playing in relationships, the emotional reaction is not a positive reaction. So I'm going to be interested to see how Denise explores why Jamal felt the need to buy a ticket, and if he's really been honest, because when you're in therapy, it's really important that you're honest, because in order to grow, you have to be honest, you have to be open in order to transform your relationship and in order for things to work to your good. If you're going to therapy and you're lying and you're playing games, this may be detrimental to your relationship in the long run, because therapy is for a certain amount of sessions, and when you're in therapy, you're learning the interventions and the support that the therapist is providing you. But when you come out of therapy, you need to implement what you've learned from therapy into your daily lifestyle. So if these couples are not being honest and open and taking the therapy session for granted, it's going to have effects on their relationship after session.
What you need to do first, right? I understand that you love me, but I also understand I love me. Okay?
So you don't want to have sex?
No, what I'm saying is, you need to love you first.
I love me.
You need to love you more.
To do what? To not be able to release?
No, in order for you to not feel like you need me to be inside of you before you can feel loved.
Don't let me suspect you, because at the end of the day, I don't understand what this means. I could be in the house with booty shorts, Paul will walk past me.
You want me to say anything? You're wearing booty shorts.
No, you can touch my bum, I don't know, slip it in or something. Do something that men do to their girls when they see them. Honestly.
Chioma, do you ever instigate sex with him?
All the time. There's a situation where we planned to have sex. Paul was, I don't know what happened, he agreed anyway. I'm so embarrassed saying this. Like, we organised a day where we were going to have sex. I went out, I bought lingerie, I bought rose petals, wine, I dimmed the lights, everything. Paul came in, do you know what he did? He ate and he went to bed. I have to get him on weekends, and we have to put it in our diary, because he's very much about diary. Let's schedule this, let's put this in our diary, blah, blah, blah. He's trying to make me feel unattractive, even though I know I'm sexy as fuck, and I know there's men out there that would want what he doesn't want. So for me, it's like, if you don't want it, then let me go, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Intimacy in relationships is very important, and a lack of intimacy in relationships can lead to trust issues. Now, with Chioma saying that her and Paul, they are hardly having sex and any intimacy, it has resulted in her doing different things to herself. Now, what Paul needs to understand is his partner is expressing a issue within their relationship now when it comes to the intimate side of their relationship. So Paul needs to reflect on this and understand his part to play when it comes to relationships and intimacy.
Just look at each other, just have a conversation, even sit in silence. It doesn't necessarily have to be the bang bang. It's not like that. I just like a calm vibe. Like, let's be chill with it. Let's be mature.
Why am I having to do these things in order to have sex with my man? Why do I have to lure him in order to put him in a position where, okay, he might want to have sex with me?
I'm a sapiosexual.
What does that mean? Are you not attracted to me?
Of course I'm attracted to you.
Then why are you not trying to have sex?
No, I'm trying to have sex, but at the same time, mentally, right?
You're not there.
I don't want to feel like, okay, anytime you're doing something because you want something.
Okay, so why can't you initiate it? Why do I have to do something? There are days where I don't necessarily do anything. Why can't you just come to me and, try it?
Alright, look at this.
Hang on, no, I've got an idea. Okay,
What's wrong with
this
you?
is something that we do regularly in therapy. Just for a moment, take a minute, and let's go back to what made you fall for each other in the beginning. Okay, bear with me.
Okay, so Denise has finally implemented an intervention and an activity for the couples. So she wants Chioma and Paul to think about why they fell in love with each other or what attracts them to each other. Now, this is really important because, as I said before, a lot of issues seem to be coming into the therapy session, and it can sometimes feel quite overwhelming, and it's important to remember why you're in therapy and the end goal for therapy. So I'm really happy that she has actually initiated some intervention and activity for the couples, for them to essentially tailor things down a bit and really understand what brought them together, but then also what brought them to therapy.
I would like you to turn and face each other. Don't say anything, and just look into each other's eyes for approximately, it's going to feel like forever, but in that time, you will find something within yourself that was there at the beginning. we're just going to leave it there for a second and do a little exercise that's going to help highlight the trust within your relationship and show the openness. So I'd like you to each tell each other something that the other person doesn't yet know about you. So something new.
I kind of used to like your sister before I met you, you know.
What sister?
Yeah, this young.
What sister?
Yeah, M-class, innit?
You used to fancy her.
She's just pretty, innit? Like,
So I'm second best.
you're not second. Don't put it like that. It's just we had similarities and stuff. No, I'm not going to go too deep into it. But obviously,
So you fancied M class before me?
it's not that. It's not that big of a deal. It's like, I'm still with you now.
So why don't you move to M class then?
Because I saw you.
Yeah, no, that's strange. I don't like that. That's really weird. That's very strange. I'm not a fan of
It's
that.
really
I'm
not
not
that
gonna
deep,
lie.
man. Honestly, like, don't play too much.
Wow. That went a direction I never thought it was going to go. For Jamal to be saying that to Deborah, yes, he's being open and honest and he's saying something new about himself. I never thought he would have said something like that. And I guess that is playing on Deborah's insecurities, because Jamal knows that Deborah is insecure, and for him to say something like this, it is quite insensitive. And I really do hope that with Denise implementing this activity, she really helps the couple to come to an understanding as to why she implemented this technique and how it's going to help the couples, because this can send the couples into a very toxic situation when they get home. So I'm also interested to see what Deborah's going to say and whether it's going to be a tit for tat type moment, because in the beginning I did say I can sense from these couples game playing in a relationship in order to acquire an emotional response or a response from the party to see how they will react based on what each other are doing.
It's just, yeah.
Why did you tell me that here though? Just asking.
That's
That's very awkward and embarrassing. What am I actually doing here? Jamel is now bringing up that he used to fancy my sister. I'm not really liking this process of therapy. You were supposed to be moving in the right direction and making progress, but now he's bringing me information like this. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I got mine, Denise. So, Jamel, I made an OnlyFans account. But I haven't used it, but I made an OnlyFans account.
You've got a what account?
Oh, OnlyFans account? So,
Wait. You got what?
an OnlyFans account. I'm not going to use it. I didn't make it to use it, but maybe. I'm joking. I made an OnlyFans account.
What is this account?
As I said before, playing games tit for tat. Jamal was doing this, Deborah's doing that. It's very toxic and it's not going to get the couples any better, and therapy might not go according to plan based on what the couples are doing. Now, as I said, also the couples need to remember how they want to transform their relationship and the next steps they want to take in their relationship. If they keep doing all of this tit for tat behaviors, it's not going to put them in a good situation. Now, they need to be mindful of what they're doing, because it seems like Jamal is behaving in a certain way to get an emotional response from Deborah, and then Deborah's also behaving in a way to get an emotional response from Jamal, and they're not being open and they're not being honest within their relationship, so they're playing games to filter their honesty.
So it's basically... So people can subscribe to your account and then you can do like private things on there, sometimes sexual or some like could be a fetish or something. So yeah, that's what it is. I made one.
Okay. How does that make you feel now you both know something about each other?
I don't even care.
I feel great. I feel better. You didn't like the task?
When Denise set this task, I didn't expect it to be like this. I thought it'd be light-hearted. But the fact that she came to drop to me that she got an OnlyFans account, she crazy. Like, she talks about trust, about me, this and that, but how the heck am I meant to trust her when she got an OnlyFans account?
I get the feeling that you're not feeling so happy about things.
I feel like, I don't want to be judgmental, but I feel like maybe Denise, the task she should have set the couples is to name one thing that they like about each other, as opposed to naming one thing new about each other. Because maybe Deborah and Jamal never quite understood the task at hand, and they said things that they will regret when they get home, essentially, and it's causing more problems. It's opening more of a can of worms, and it kind of feels like there's a lot of problems and a lot of issues ongoing in their relationship. So it may be hard for them to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I really do hope that Denise brings things in and really is able to bring the situation back to the purpose and how they're going to move forwards and how they're going to find a positive from essentially the negative and what's going on in the relationship.
Wait, have I gained weight? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not trying to say you gained weight, but since we're on the topic, let's have the discussion. So, random question. Just out of curiosity. In the last 6 months, have you weighed yourself? I'm just asking.
What?
Okay. Have you ever calculated your calorie intake? Yes or no?
What are you trying to
yes
say?
Or no?
I don't calculate my calorie intake.
So, okay. If you didn't calculate it in the last 6 months, the last 3 months.
Yeah, but I still eat the same.
You still eat the same? Okay, cool. Do you calculate what you're eating?
Paul, what exactly?
No.
You're saying something.
You brought up. Let's have the conversation. I didn't.
Okay, Paul is being very dismissive and quite argumentative with the therapist, and I hope that she implements the right boundaries to bring it back to a healthy environment. Now, with Paul touching on body image, one thing that I do want to say is that when you feel discomfort in somebody's body, this can translate into discomfort in sex. Now, I'm not going to say that Paul has a negative feeling towards Chioma's body because he hasn't expressed that or openly said that, but if he is feeling discomfort towards Chioma's body, this could be what is translating into his sex life and his sex drive, with him not wanting to be intimate with Chioma. So I'm really interested to see what Paul says and how they kind of navigate with this conversation, because they could be entering a vicious cycle but also coming to a better understanding as to why Paul is not as intimate with Chioma as he was before. It may be because Paul feels that Chioma has put on weight and he's not comfortable with Chioma's body and her body image. Body image in relationships can play a massive impact and a massive role in your relationship, and it can actually lead to insecurities and low self-esteem. So I really do hope that this situation and that this topic is handled and managed appropriately, taking into consideration Chioma's feelings, especially when it comes to body image.
No woman wants to hear that she's put on weight, especially by her partner, somebody she finds physically attractive.
I can appreciate that it's been a difficult session, but if you wouldn't mind, I'm just going to send you away with some homework.
Yes, fine. Can we just do that quickly? Thank you.
So what I'd like you to do is write down 5 things, both of you, 5 things that you appreciate in each other, and 5 things that you have done for each other.
I understand that Chioma's quite upset at this moment with the way things have kind of played out in terms of the whole weight gain and stuff. Sometimes I try to motivate her and the push might be a tiny bit too much for her. So, I'll be accountable and I'll say, look, I can take my foot off the pedal and just kind of sit back with this and, kind of let things play out easily, I guess.
I've always thought, anyway, that Paul's had an issue with my weight just by the way he behaves and constantly telling me to do certain things.
So we've come to the end of episode 4/session 4, and as you can tell, emotions have been on the high with this session. Also, Denise has implemented some tasks in the session as well as out of the session. I do believe that there is growth from both parties and both couples, and I really do hope that when they do get home they can deflect on their therapy session and come to a better understanding as to their growth and how they're going to move forwards. As you guys already know, I am a big fan of Blue Therapy. Let me know in the comment section, how did you find episode 4, and look forward to reacting to episode 5. Take care.